And welcome back to the grand finals of the National Futsal Series. We're at Wolverhampton University, and earlier on we saw London Helvetia win the Women's Super Series final, but now it is time for Wessex against London Escolla in the men's Tier 2 final. For those of you that do not know the rules of futsal, here, let's have a look at them.
Futsal is fast-paced, hyper-technical and great fun to watch, but what do you need to know? Well, the laws of futsal are similar to football's, but with a few important differences. Here are the key points. First, let's start with the clock. It's 20 minutes per half, but the clock will stop whenever the ball goes out of play or the referee blows their whistle. Each coach gets a 60-second timeout per half. It's 5-a-side, but rolling substitutes mean it's a squad game. Players are often grouped into sets with specific skills, and subs can be made one by one or wholesale. Accumulated fouls is one to watch. Fouls generally work similarly to football, but a team is only permitted 5 in one half, and for every one after, their opponents are awarded a 10-metre penalty. At half-time, the foul count resets. Players can be sent off via 2 yellows or a straight red. Following a sending off, their team will play with a player short for 2 minutes on the clock or until they concede a goal, whichever comes first, before they can return to a full 5. The player dismissed can't return to court. The 4-second rule is one to keep an eye on too. As for kick-ins, free kicks, goal kicks and corners, the player in possession has 4 seconds to restart play. The goalkeeper also isn't allowed to control the ball for 4 seconds in their own half, but is allowed unlimited time and touches in the opposition's half of the court should they wish to be used as a fly goalkeeper. If we're level at the end of 40 minutes, we'll decide our Summer Showdown winners via a penalty shootout with 5 kicks each.
Well, what a great start it has been to the day. We saw London Helvetia take the win in the Women's Super Final, and now I'm back in the studio with Michael. What can we expect from the Tier 2 game in the men's game?
Yeah, well, like the first game we saw this morning from the ladies' game, which was brilliant. I think today we're going to see another high-intensity, emotional, passionate game. It's going to be furious out there. It's going to be fast. It's going to be quick, but it's going to be highly technical and highly tactical. I
mean, you mentioned there was an underdog in the women's game. Is there an underdog in this game? Is there one that can come out on top?
Yeah, not so much. I think these games are a bit more evenly matched. Probably Wessex are probably a bit more experienced, but you know, some of the London Escolla players have been playing since they're 10, 11, 12, so again, really experienced players, so a bit more of a match game, I think.
Let's talk more about the Wessex team. I want to see what they have in store for us today. Anything you can tell us about them? Let's have a look.
Yeah, so, you know, Wessex, again, really experienced. They've got some experienced players in the ranks. You've got Charlie Philpott there, the keeper, him, you know, good throw, a Welsh international player. Yeah. You've also got 2 Irish internationals in Adam Barr and Conor Miller.
That throw there almost led to an assist. Could he claim that as an assist?
Yeah, he'll take that as an assist all day, but, you know, he's got that in his locker, so you'll be really quick. You know, that goal there from Jordan Matthews was part of the England under-21s, so you've got some international talent on show here for Wessex.
So this is the game that was played in the semi-final. This is the semi-final, how they got here today. And I'm seeing some great shots on target here right now.
Yeah, they did really well against London Genesis, but you know, they dominated that game with possession, and some of their finishing was absolutely brilliant.
Talk to me about the captain here. Seems to be controlling the game, number 10 as well.
Yeah, Conor Miller, Northern Irish international, you know, really strong player, really composed, leads the line for them every game, and he's going to be a handful for London Escolla today.
Talk to me about London Escolla then.
Yeah, so London Escolla, a little bit younger, got some part of the England under-19s player, Henrique De Karma, Max Burrell, Finley Scott. So really younger talent and really play a really nice game of futsal, but physically not as strong, but they're going to be really composed and they're going to be really clever about how they go about the game.
So what's the typical age range of the Escolla team?
Yeah, I think they're a bit younger. I think they've got, you know, 19, 20. Okay. James Durkin, probably now 20 years of age again. Another good player as part of the England 21s. Then 1 or 2 older heads in there just to balance that out. But generally a bit younger, but really mobile, really athletic.
Just looking at these visuals here, they're looking super fast.
Fast.
Are we expecting quick, some real pace on this pitch today?
Yeah, fast, quick, can cover ground really well. But they're going to be a test for sure.
So what's the difference between, so we're going to see later on today, but what is the difference between playing in a Tier 2 men's game and a Tier 1 men's game?
Yeah, so the Tier 2 of futsal split into North and South leagues. So the winners of those leagues generally, not this year because of COVID and summer series, but the winners of those leagues get promoted into the Tier 1, which is made up of the best 8 teams in the country. And we'll see the Tier 1 finals today. And that final is basically a spot for the Champions League in Europe. So
Amazing.
that's where, so these teams are really trying to get into Tier 1 to then go and fight out for that Champions League spot.
Amazing. Well, Andrew Mensah spoke to both coaches from both teams, so let's hear what they had to say.
Jeff, made it here to the final. How are you feeling?
Yeah, I'm absolutely buzzing, and so are the players. Yeah, really excited to be here.
So what was that? Just talk to me about the whole journey coming up into the final, just the journey that you've got here and what your game tactics are today.
So obviously with the COVID restrictions, we started off training outdoors for quite a few months. Then it had to stop and be curtailed for a little while again. And we eventually managed to get indoors, do a little bit of training before starting this. We had Southend in our first game in the group stage. They're a really good outfit. We then followed that up with what was like a home game at Five Rivers in Salisbury against Bedford. And then our semi-final was against London Genesis. All these sides, really good sides, so delighted to be here.
You're delighted to be here, you've made it here. I want to know, what do you say to your players in a final? Do you just say, you know what, I trust you guys, you've made it here, go out and play?
To be honest, there's lots of leaders, lots of experience, so I don't really have to say too much. They're kind of leading the group for me on this.
So are you just looking at it like, no pressure, go out and have fun and play your game?
Yeah, and we want to put on a show because this is a real spectacle, and we want futsal to grow in this country, and want our whole community to get behind us and really support it today.
I look forward to the show, man. Thank you very much. Take care.
Thank you very much.
Okay, Stuart, you're here at the final. Just talk to me how excited you are.
We are extremely excited. We're proud to be here to represent Escolla. The boys have trained fantastically the last couple of weeks, so it's going to be a great game.
Just talk to me about your journey coming here, just like going through the games, winning through the games, and now you're finally here. How does it just feel to go through that journey?
It's been brilliant, considering the recent lockdowns, to come out, start training again, only a handful of training sessions going into that first game. To get through that was one of the really toughest games against Pro Futsal, and then to move on against Reading Royals, and now to be here through the semi-final against York, and it's fantastic to be here.
Just going into a final, how do you just feel? Like, do you tell your players, go out there, we trust you, go and have fun and express yourselves?
Yeah, they know what to do. We've worked on stuff for a long time, and there's many of the players that have come through the age groups into the first team now, and this is their opportunity to shine. Yeah.
And what do you know about West Sussex?
Wessex, we know them well. We've seen a few of their games, watched them many times, especially the coverage recently. So we know a few of them. Know some of them personally as well, so it's going to be an exciting one. So won't give too much away of what we're doing, but it'll be good.
Now that we've got the cameras here, we're here. What does this game particularly do for futsal as a whole?
It's fantastic to have the opportunity now to showcase the sport, globally through BT Sport, across YouTube as well. Absolutely fantastic, and I think a lot of young people growing up now will aspire to be here, and this is only going to get bigger and better and stronger for the sport. So it's a brilliant opportunity.
Looking forward to the game, man.
Yeah.
Take care. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So there you have it. The managers are ready for the Tier 2 futsal final, but I know you're probably bored of people saying this, but isn't this just a five-a-side match?
No, I think that's the biggest thing in England. The difference between futsal and five-a-side are, for me, worlds apart. So, futsal's played to lines, more like football, not played to boards, so basically it makes it harder. The goals are like 3 metres by 2 metres, not the letterbox goals, so again you have to move the ball closer.
Yeah.
The laws of the game make the game so much different, probably harder. So we saw earlier about how the ball couldn't go back to the keeper before it goes over the halfway line. So the cocktail of constraints, the ball, the surface, make the game really fast. I think that's the key to why this game is high intensity, high decision making, and just quick and exciting to watch and exciting to play.
Now you're a former national coach. How would you be feeling before this game as a coach? But first of all, actually, tell me about your experience as former national coach.
Wow, okay, that's a question. So I started playing back in 2000 for the national team. So like most people in England, grew up playing football, non-league, academy system, but found futsal around 2000 from the ex-national coach Graham Dell that brought me into the international team. My first experience was going to Thailand and playing in front of about 7,000 people.
Oh wow.
So, we talked about how it was big, 60 million around the world playing it, then went on to more games, played nationally, captained the side for a couple of times, and then moved more into coaching later. coached at one of the big universities, Loughborough University, and then moved into the national role where looked after the programme from sort of top to bottom with under-19s, under-21s, and then lucky enough to be involved for over 200 games as a player and coach. So love the game. Still got a long way to grow in England.
Yeah.
But it's going really well.
Yeah, I know it's still got a long way to develop, but if you was, one of the managers ahead of this game, how would you approach it?
Good question. I think if I was the Wessex manager, play with Conor Miller as that pivot, be physical, be direct, play as more of a 3-1 system. Charlie Philpott, like we've seen in the VT, he's got a really good direct throw. And then if I was London Escolla, I would be a little bit more reserved, like try and build into the game, but try and move the ball really well and use the assets of the players that you have, really.
Well, thank you so much, Michael. I'm sure you'll be joining Stephen for your commentary duties, and we'll hand over to Stephen right now for that.
All right then. Match 2 of the day is about to get underway. It's the National Series 2 final. It is Wessex versus London Escolla. We heard from the two coaches ahead of time. They've both been really battling against the situation and the circumstances of the last year or so in recent months. They're delighted to be here. This is the Wessex team. They line up with Charlie Philpott in goal. He's their starting keeper. Bargap, Tozer and Miller, the skipper, are their starting 5. Terry New is one to watch, and Will Mackey as well. They're the number 8, just 17, youngest player in the squad. And here is London Escolla. Vitor Manata, the goalkeeper, is very, very consistent. James Durkin has scored 3 in 3 in this competition. And the skipper, Enrique De Carmo, very, very, very good indeed. Bit deeper squad for London Escolla. Feel like they might just need it as we head into the latter stages of this one. Mike has come from the studio to the commentary position and working you hard today, Mike, but this is another great final coming up, isn't it? We saw a brilliant one in the Women's Super Series. That one really delivered, and we saw there a little bit of an upset. This game, in theory, a little bit closer on paper at least. Should be a great final.
It's going to be an absolute great final. You've got, Wessex that got some really experienced players in their ranks that really know how to see games through, manage games. Conor Miller, Adam Barr really dominate those key areas, and then you've got, I would say that the purists of the world in London Escolla who know how to play the game. Some of these kids have grown in their academy since 10, 12, 14, 16, have been playing the game for 10 years, and they really know how to play this game. So I think this is going to be another clash of styles, but it's going to be a great game.
Well, let's hope so. London Escolla were superb in their semi-final, eventually running away with it, but it was hard work in the run-up to it. A couple of late goals against the fly keeper before they eventually took home the victory. And Wessex were excellent in beating Genesis, a really, really good side, and they just had a little bit too much for them, didn't they?
Yeah, the firepower that they have in their ranks. You've got Jordan Matthews as well, who likes to run at people, great strong shots. Yeah,
a classic sort of number 9, as it were, isn't he? He plays that pivot position, and he's aggressive, he's dogged, and he's a real nightmare to play against.
Yeah, that's Conor. He's so good. He can roll. We saw in the women's game earlier how you pin players, you roll them, and they have a real good way of dominating that area. If you can get the ball up to them quickly, they'll have runners off them like Jordan Matthews, like I was saying, some of the other players in terms of Harry Tozer, Blaze Gap, Sam Hunter, they can all run. So it's going to be really physical, high intensity game from Wessex this.
We certainly hope so. That's what we're here to see. The final team huddles are complete. It was time for the big one to get underway, and what an opportunity for some of these young players in particular. The bright lights and the big cameras, the big audience. It's such an opportunity, isn't it?
Yeah, they're going to love it. Some of them, let's not undersell. Enrique De Carmo, James Durkin. They've been with the England 19s when we went out to Croatia and did really well against a top Italian team. So they've got experiences and they can manage games. So this is going to be a really, really good showing.
We certainly hope so. We're underway. It's Wessex in white, Escolla in blue. And expect this start to be quite frenetic.
Yeah, I think so. It'll be really interesting here to see how teams start. So, as we thought, Wessex more of a half-court block, stopping anything coming through the middle.
The first time we've seen there of any real fly from the start. Escolla do that really, really well with Vitor Manata. He was a big contributor in that semi-final, helped secure a lot of good attacking positions.
One thing you'll notice about Escolla's goalkeepers is Vitor and Max Burrell are brilliant with their feet. So whenever Escolla can get them out with their feet, similar here to Charlie Philpott, both teams, you know, but those two with Escolla are very dangerous with their feet.
It's bold, isn't it? Both teams playing with the fly right from the get-go here. And this is the danger of it. Can Escolla capitalise as they charge forward? Little slot through the legs from Restrepo, but no way through on the other side, and Wessex turn it back over.
It's really interesting here. I think both managers have tried a little bit of a surprise tactic and probably both going for the same thing, which is interesting.
Here's the number 10 for Wessex, Conor Miller, who was superb in that semi-final at Loughborough a couple of weeks ago. First shot comes by way of Escolla. It comes in from Enrique De Carmo.
It'd be interesting here to see a great shot there, Enrique De Carmo. Like we say, we'll get shots off early. It'd be interesting to see here how Escolla set up. Again, more of a diamond, a 1-2-1 formation. Keeping the half tight to start off the game, following players. So not a zonal, but a following or exchanging of players, but definitely into that diamond. Both teams sort of playing a mid-block to start this game off.
It's a Wessex ball. They were really deadly off their set pieces in that semi-final, were Wessex, and just tends to be in tight games, in big games. I just feel like over the next few hours when we watch this Tier 2 final and the Tier 1 final, the set pieces are just going to get progressively more important, aren't they?
Any level at sport, you know, restart, set pieces, corners, you know, they can make the difference. And, you know, these teams have got really well-drilled set pieces. They'll have playbooks, so they might have 2 or 3 corners, 2 or 3.
That was brilliant from Restrepo. He did so well. Don't think he ever had high hopes of scoring from there, but a decent flash across the face. Brilliant feet, wasn't it? Terrific pivot play.
I was just saying they have 2 or 3 set pieces that they'll use, and that could make the difference.
Loose one. And now maybe a chance for De Carmo. He couldn't get the pass through. Frustrating one that for Escolla. But there was the shot coming in from Restrepo. It's a decent strike. Goalkeeper never really likely to be troubled there, Charlie Philpott.
Escolla here will have a couple of set pieces again that we talked about. There we go. So 2 players coming to screen or open up the middle and block. And then James Durkin there, we know he's got a really good left foot to try and get that striker. But just a bit far away, that, you know, the distance wasn't close enough to affect the keeper.
It's a great run down this outside. Wessex could be in here. Manata comes out to deal with it. And it's his defender behind him. That was Walsford Gregg. What an important block that was. And now another chance here maybe for Miller, for Wessex. Wants it on his left, gets it on his left! And that is what he does. Conor Miller lights the touch paper in this Tier 2 final with a fantastic finish.
Yeah, no, Harry Tozer just before that got the ball into it off the screen. But what you hear from Conor Miller, we said there's firepower in this team. If he can roll you and face forward, he's got a lethal left foot that will score goals with. And, you know, they'll see that as a bit soft, Escolla, but, you know, he has got that power and he's dangerous in front of goal in those areas.
Yeah, Manata didn't even see it, did he? No time to react at all. Great start for Wessex. There's Jordan Matthews taken off him by Durkin. Durkin has to come out with him, couldn't quite find him. But it's that high intensity start that we thought we might see.
Yeah, what you see here is like the Y or the 2-1-1 defensive formation from Wessex to try and stop anything coming through. Because those nicks, like we saw some deflections earlier, that's what you don't want. So you structurally need to be really sound. Shoulders probably need to be a little bit more open here so they can see the block and the screens come in.
That's something that Vitor Manata has to watch. He does play high up the court. And we've seen it a few times in the Tier 1, haven't we? Players can get caught from a long, long way out.
Yeah, it's a balancing act for the goalkeepers. They'll play high to stop the transition.
Maybe a chance. Reverse pass across the face is cut out by Escolla. Now they're on the break with Restrepo. Ball across the face to DeCarmo. Can't quite get the shot away, but he does keep it alive for Escolla. I think in the early moments, Morgan Worsford-Gregg, the defender, would love to have that one back. I don't think he was expecting the left foot, was he? He will now.
Yeah, it's important as a back player. There's no offsides, right? So you need to get in front of the defender and cut off the passing lines to stop it at source. And technically and tactically, that's really doing it. And if you can't, you at least need to push that defender, that attacker, out of that middle zone, because if they get facing forward in there, any type of strike on target is really difficult for the keeper to stop.
Played towards the second post, dealt with by Wessex. This is Jordan Matthews, number 7. Now Adam Barr as the back man. Lovely. Big chance for Wessex. Can they make it 2? It's a big save from Vitor Manata.
Brilliant play there by Wessex. Adam Barr as a fix, just cutting through the middle with as a false pivot. So as the pivot went round and left the space, Adam Barr shown the space, passed that off to, if you like, in a little 2v2 with Conor Miller, and all of a sudden that gap and space is open.
It's Miller to strike it left-footed. He does love to hit it like that. Escolla are going to ring a 4-man change. This is what you see fair amounts of.
Interesting, you know, Wessex here have gone 2-1-1, high pressing, trying to stop them getting any momentum in the game here.
For Escolla, Nico Moreno, Finley Scott, Lucas Costa are on, as well as Elliot McMillan over on the far side as well. They're looking to find Matthews! And Wessex, for the second time in the game, have a way through, and it's the perfect start for the team in white. It really is.
Another great finish, and we talked about the firepower they've got in this team. You know, they've got some serious firepower, serious international quality, and what you've seen there is 2 key international players for them that have really let rip in terms of front of goal. Great finish. It's going to be an uphill battle straight away for Escolla here. They haven't started well, the youngsters, and they're probably a little bit of a rabbit in the headlights at the moment.
Yeah, immediate timeout called by the Escolla coach. I think that's quite wise. It's still a long, long way to go in this first half, of course, but I think it's just worth bearing that in mind. These are youngsters who might just need themselves just checking in place here, just reminding that they are here on merit. They are perfectly good enough to play and compete and even win this final.
Yeah,
so far they're shooting themselves in the foot a little bit.
I think they've been fine with the ball. It's without the ball where they've not quite got their defensive exchanges. So when we talk about defending, you know, do you follow man for man? Do you pass a player on? And what you saw there is one defender passed on and one went with. So all of a sudden their strategies is not happened, and they've been caught open.
Got to respect the celebration, haven't you? Jordan Matthews enjoying himself. Wessex enjoying themselves. Referee's going to stop things. I think there's a timing error here. It's what you sometimes see in a court sport like this. Not too sure what the call is from our referees here. Harvey Newstead, the lead referee. Young man from Norfolk. And they're back underway. 16 minutes then still left in this first half. It's been a long first 4 minutes if you're from a London Escolla perspective. Wessex with a brilliant start. Look dangerous every time they get the ball. That's tidy from Matthews.
In the 1v1 duels, those little battles that Wessex are really on top here, you know, they're coming out with the ball all the time, and that's the aggressiveness and the intensity that you need. So the intensity of the Wessex team is just outplaying at the minute Escolla's team.
Nico Moreno. DeCarmo can't lose it there, can't lose it there. I look like a foul, but it might not matter for Matthews. He's done it again. Wessex running riot.
it's one of those things, you know, we talk about it all the time. The one area you cannot lose the ball is in the central area of a futsal court. It's so dangerous because if he gets in front of you, you've got to bring him down, or, you know, but in the end, you know, it's not a great area to lose that ball in. And this is where the younger players, you know, they're not old, they need to get calm, they just need to keep moving the ball.
Tough score out there for these Escolla lads at the moment. The experienced campaigners in Wessex are really laying it on them here.
What I've been really impressed with is, you know, how well Wessex have been defending. So in their mid-block, they've been really, really clever in the ways they pass players on, the way they go with players in terms of man for man, and it's causing Escolla no time on the ball.
It's Moreno with the strike. Durkin! Decent chance there. Save comfortable in the end for Philpott. Looking to get Matthews on the run. Manata never needs an invitation to come out of goal.
That's that sweeper keeper we talked about earlier. Just
what's another good chance, another good save. Matthews and Miller look deadly up top, don't they?
On fire, yeah. They've been through experiences with their national teams, as we spoke about, so then this occasion won't faze them as much as some of the younger players. But what Escolla have got to be careful about is opening the game up. So we saw straight away they're playing open because they want that goal back. But that's probably what.
Well, here's a good chance. It's Durkin. It's a good save by Philpott. He celebrates it like a goal. So too, by the way, did his sub-keeper over there, Charlie Bird, from the bench. Goalkeepers union and all that. That was a good chance for James Durkin. Escolla have had their moments with the ball. It's just defensively they look a little bit shaky. Every time Wessex come forward, they're dangerous. Forward comes Manata. That's a risky pass. And what a good save that is, no hands.
Yeah, Escolla just forcing things here, and the game's going to open up, and I can see a lot more goals coming through Wessex in the counter and in the transition phases, because, you know, that's what they're waiting for now. That's what they're waiting for. The shrewd players of Adam Barr, Jordan Matthews, Conor Miller, they're just waiting for those half chances, and Escolla have got to manage this game really, really well. They've got time. They need to get this next goal desperately.
Yeah, there's a very, very long way to go. And Escolla are still creating chances, which is encouraging. Forward they come again. This is where it's dangerous, though, with Miller now. It's great feed. It's Matthews! Misses by a millimetre. Nearly a 6-minute hat-trick.
He would have been pleased with that. You know, he's on the end of everything at the minute. It just looks like the rub of the green is definitely bouncing for them, isn't it? And these are the moments I'm talking about where Escolla just got to calm down, not give the ball away too easily, especially in those central areas like we spoke about.
It's almost stressful to watch, isn't it?
Yeah,
they're playing a little bit
panicked.
panicked.
You can see it that they're so rushing to try and get a goal back, when in fact they just need to build the attacks and wait for that opportunity to come, because otherwise it's just going to be transition after transition, and that's what Wessex wants. That's what they're good at: pace, power, physicality plays into their games.
Been impressed with Terry New since he's come on, the number 2 for Wessex. This is the chance for Jordan Matthews. Brilliant work by Miller. How well does he do there? It's another good save by Manata. Former London Helvetia goalkeeper. Battling with elbow and knee knocks. But you get those as a futsal keeper. Just got a fingertip on that.
Yeah, good decision by the referees there. Just a fingertip, just to push it out wide, which is good. Direct it offline. I think it was Harry Tozu who might have been coming in at the back post. William Mackey.
That is Mackey. Miller, lovely ball to the back stick. Wessex do really well just to keep that alive. Tozer at the back post.
This is a challenge for Escolla now, because the game's really stretched. They've got to build collectively in a 3 or move more in their 4.
It's very one-on-one at the moment, isn't it? But that might just suit them. And there was a good chance for Nico Moreno, stealing in at the near post. Nearly got the run of the green there. This is Terry New for Wessex. It's been a really frantic pace, hasn't it? set by Wessex, and they look comfortable playing at this pace. They look in control.
That's it. They want to play at high intensity. They want it to be more of, you have it, we have it, you have it, we have type of game, because they like that. But in that, they've got some really clever tactical moves. Whereas Helvetia like to move the ball, be a little bit more tactical in movement. But at the minute, sorry, not Escolla, at the minute, Escolla can't quite get those forward passes off.
And it's difficult. Jeff Bonner over there on the far side, bellowing instructions to his Wessex team. He mentioned he's got plenty of leaders in the squad. He doesn't need to do much, but he will make sure they're still in line.
Yeah, he's just getting them pressing. So tactically, they're changing between a mid-block in a sort of, a diamond where they follow and exchange players into a high press. And that's causing Escolla some huge problems in terms of how they build structurally.
Philpott wanting to join the attack here in a fly keeper situation. And I think Toes just misunderstood the call there. He expected Philpott to be there, he wasn't.
Yeah, Philpott had to be over. He's just getting there a bit slow, but keeper could have been there quicker if they're going to do that. But it just shows you they're prepared to do that as well, to dislodge the momentum of the game. Futsal's all about momentum. Can you keep the momentum? Can you get the momentum?
Restrepo couldn't bring it down. It's now with Finlay Scott as the backman for Escolla. That's a nice little ball. Can Restrepo shield it? No. Terry New using always nous to get in front of him.
Better from Finlay Scott there, just playing a little 2v2.
It's a great ball. New switches it to Tozer. Gets the shot away. Again, more in hope than expectation there. I think he's trying to hit the second post if he could. Will be in a Wessex ball rather.
Yeah, Escolla there, if you're going to make the game open and you're going to try and split with two wide pivots and his distances are wide, you have to recover quickly. And at the minute, what's happening is when the transition comes, there's a huge gap between the two lines of the Escolla players recovering and the two defenders, so they're getting done 3 versus 2, and Wessex are getting quite a few shots off. There it is again, that high pressure, really high aggressive pressure. What you'll notice is that they're blocking the inside channels, so as they press that ball, they're forcing the ball down the sides of them all the time.
Here comes the fly keeper. Here comes Charlie Philpott. Not afraid to hit that second post. Good keeping by Manata, who's going to join him now. And this is all a bit of a frenzy. Can Restrepo beat the defender on the line? No, he can't. Well, I never thought with only halfway through the first half gone that we'd see both keepers in the centre circle at the same time, but there we are.
Manata did really well there because he could have struck, but actually passed it out wide. And actually, I think there could have been a higher finish, so they'd have to head it.
Again, it's a bit more encouraging from Escolla. When they've worked the ball and they've managed to find time on it, got Wessex back into their mid-block, they do look dangerous. They've created moments. Yeah. Say it's just about keeping Wessex out of the other ends. No Miller and Matthews on the court at the minute, I think, is helping that.
Yeah, I think they also need to, when they're rotating back into the 3 or the 4 as they play, they need to rotate a little bit deeper to face forward on the ball so they can pass forward or go sideways. At the minute they're rotating, but because they want to score so much, they're not rotating deep enough to get forward passes on.
Restarts with Scott.
So here, one touch, face forward, can you play forward? Again, face forward to play forward. There, see 2 negative there, you need to play forward off that type of movement. Again, that's better. So the wingers need to really be open to try and find the pivot.
That's clever. Big chance now for Restrepo. Good save, Philpott.
Brilliant. That's brilliant. That's what the Escolla have got if they get their game together. So what we talked about, wingers facing forward. Can you hit the pivot? Can you get runners off that pivot?
Oh, he was close there. I think Jordan Matthews had a chance on the line of getting to it, but that was a great effort by Restrepo. Lovely movement from Escolla there. Much better. Scoops to Durkin, and we've got a hold of that all right.
It's difficult. It's really difficult to do a volley from a central area because the ball doesn't come down quick enough. So you usually see the volley in the wide areas because it comes down and you can have a little bit more time. So it's really difficult from those central areas technically.
Oh, that's an unfortunate one for Escolla, but that one, it works out for them with Restrepo. Stood on the ball, gets it back. Wants a free kick for that, nothing coming. Jordan Matthews escapes. Oh, what a good-looking ball that was, and I think there was a toe on the end of that by Morgan Worsfold-Gregg. Nothing given, but the idea was right there from Jordan Matthews. It's nearly a brilliant ball.
Better from Escolla here, you know, finding themselves a little bit more with the ball. Need to move it quickly though.
Free kick's going to get given, foul by Jordan Matthews. First of the match, we've played over 10 minutes. This first half has gone quick. And in
Really
the second
quick.
half of what we've seen so far, in that 15-10 gap, Escolla haven't conceded. They conceded all 3 goals in their opening 5 minutes.
Yeah, they'll be really disappointed because they've come really quick. You know, fair play to Wessex. But, you know, these are the moments where we're talking about the wingers. They have to face forward on this ball. That's it, that's better. Drag and drop to try and get pivot passes off. You know, they're the moments where in finals, sometimes players don't quite open up to try and find the forward passes, and they have to be brave. They're operating in 2-metre spaces, but in finals, it's going to be 1.5 metres, and you have to deal with it.
Durkin has Restrepo to his left, doesn't use him, gets the kick in either way. And I suppose from you looking at it as a coaching perspective, Mike, you just want to be able to see players just doing the right things. It doesn't matter if it comes off, but if they apply the principles, the idea is it comes eventually.
Yeah, the principles of facing forward to play forward, you know, trying to create 2v2s all over the court, trying to create 2v1s, move the ball quickly so that, you know, that you can't get pressed. You know, play before it gets harder, essentially, not wait for it, because otherwise you're going to be caused into transition like this.
It's brilliant from Matthews. He couldn't quite sort his final ball out, but the fleetness of foot there, so impressive. Substitution coming in. Oh, brilliant. Goodness me. Terry New wall one across the face there.
Experienced by Adam Barr there, you know, many international caps know that he's going to cut inside to get a strike out. If he took the line, it would have been a different matter.
Oh, and Matthews misses the target. That is such a clever header from Conor Miller. Those two almost have a telepathic link-up, don't they? And Matthews will be annoyed he's missed the target here.
Yeah, that should have been another goal, shouldn't it? You know, Conor Miller there, just dropping it into that space where he knows Jordan Matthews is going to land on the splash, land on the ball coming down, if you like. Better from Escolla beating the first line press. So if you notice, they've gone a 3 against a 2 to try and overload the first line, but they've got to move the ball out of pressure quicker than they are doing.
This is Bustamante, who's joined the Escolla ranks out on court at the moment.
Good screen by Enrique there, we saw.
Loose touch by New, but Bustamante can't get round the other sides. Does force it out for a kick in.
Escolla are doing well with the ball. They're just not rotate, like we talked about, rotate round more, you know, so you can face forward, you can do some damage with the ball.
Now for Restrepo.
Really patient, calm defending from Wessex here. You know, they're comfortable. The ball's in front of them. They're happy at the moment. They're not being played through the middle of the diamond.
Yeah, they're comfortable not having the ball, whereas it feels Escolla aren't particularly.
Yeah, they're passing players on in the right ways.
Oh, now could be a moment. It opens up for the skipper, DeCarmo, who can't quite find the back of the net. Off the upright and out. Was this the moment where Escolla could have got themselves back into the game?
Good little passage, you know, got there in the end. It was a bit of a, you know, gone through some legs, so it was a bit fortunate, but, you know, they needed to take that goal.
Miller, what a ball. New. And Miller off the line. What a clearance by DeCarmo. Wow. Wow. Well, a man who had the perfect view of that, the best seat in the house for that brilliant bit of defending is Andrew. He's down on court side.
Guys, that was crazy, man. Obviously, pitch side, just a goal line clearance. But I can't lie, throughout this game, what Wessex are doing is just pure bullying. It's just bullying. This is what I came to see. The football, the way the ball is moving at speed, it's just a great all-round game. Even the keeper's coming out and acting like a DM. Guys, you didn't tell me about that. You didn't tell me that could happen. This is crazy, man. This is exciting. I'm loving it. Back to you guys, man.
Well, that's what we love to hear. The best seat in the house for a moment like that. That is some bit of defending, isn't it, from London
Yeah,
Escolla?
he's completely right. You know, the keepers are being used as these pivots or these DMs to get the ball back and try and play again, and they're flying up. It's just intense. It's got everything so far.
It really is a whole different ball game, isn't it, when you see the pace of a match like this firsthand for the first time. It really is quite something to behold.
Yeah, don't get me wrong, this intensity is good. It's not bad, but you know, you see it at the top level, and it's even faster.
Oh
even
yeah.
quicker. But you know, these guys, you know, like we said down there, that Wessex, the intensity they're bringing, that's what they want to bring. The physicality, the intensity, the aggression, the press, it's brilliant.
Enrique de Carmo, superb, the Escolla skipper. And yeah, if you like what you're seeing now, just wait till 2:30. Oh! Pro Futsal London against London Helvetia, their Tier 1 final still to come with us on BT Sport today. 2:30 for that one, don't miss it. Here come Wessex again. It's another shot fired at Vitor Manata by Jordan Matthews on his own personal crusade for a hat-trick. You would not bet against that coming at any point, really, with the way he's playing at the moment. Bustamante wins it, handball given.
So unlucky. You know what Wessex have also been cute with, when they're a little bit under the cosh or want to have a little breather, what they do is they throw Charlie Philpott up to make it a 5v4, and they just pull Escolla even wider. So tactically, they're getting it absolutely spot on at the moment.
Well, just out of your picture, Harry Toes has almost stepped on the toes of the Escolla goalkeeper. What's little tactical setups? It's one thing actually I find fascinating about the game, that you can enjoy it from a surface level, but you can go in depth, isn't it? As you told me once, it's one for the tactics nerds as well.
Yeah, well, I think that's, you know.
Oh, hello. Could be a moment here for Matthews. It's cut out really well. It will break to him eventually. Is this the hat trick? Yes, it is. He gets there at the second attempt. Jordan Matthews, 3 brilliant goals, and Wessex are on their way.
Wow, absolutely fantastic again. You know, into that central point, it's come off and he's just lifted it over. What a finish that is.
That's such a good finish, isn't it? Vitor Manata did everything he could initially just to shut out the light from the original 1v1. There was no real room there for Jordan Matthews, but the presence of thought to nick that volley delicately over him off the bar, that's a wonderful finish.
What you saw from that, because we were talking about tactics earlier, what you saw from that is there's a transition with Jordan Matthews, and we talk about sometimes overload is better than speed, so he slowed down so another player could come wide, and actually that caused the defender to try and drop out to try and cover 2 areas. So what like you say, you could go really in depth in terms of the individual tactics, the paired tactics, 4v4, 3v3 tactics, which is completely different to 5-a-side, right?
Here's another look at the goal. This is just such beautiful finishing. Good bit of goalkeeping initially, but how about that?
Great
the speed of thinking there is just
lifts
so
it
impressive.
into an open net. This is a long way back now for Escolla. Really is a long way back.
We did make Wessex sort of slight favourites coming into this, but they surprised you by how good they've been.
Their intensity has been amazing. I think we always expected that. The quality of their firepower in the individuals, Jordan Matthews, as we've seen, part of the England 21s, Adam Barr here on the ball, you know, kind of their firepower. But
Philpott rattles one
but
wide.
I think, you know, Escolla, to be fair, they just didn't start, did they? They just, you know, if this was 1-0 now rather than 4-0, it's a different game. They've just not started, and when you don't start very well, it's always going to be a bit of an uphill battle. Because as you open up, you're going to leave more chances. You're going to leave the back door open more.
It's an Escolla ball.
We're seeing here, we're talking about tactics, a 2-1-1 formation for defensively, so they can get they're trying to make it 2v2, so they can win the ball in tight areas. Escolla done really well to get out of it.
Right idea for Bustamante, couldn't quite make it stick with his partner up top there, Camillo Restrepo.
So defensively, you know, we talk about having 3 lines, but you always want to make it matched up whenever you can defensively.
Vitor Manata, watch that every step of the way. He's got a great throw on him. Manata, both keepers do actually a sort of corkscrew technique. They really get their hands right around the ball. It's a smaller ball than a regular football, much heavier as well.
Yeah, Charlie Philpott is, his distribution is phenomenal for what he's been playing for Wales. I think he's just signed a pro contract for a National League side, Eastleigh or something like those. So he's just signed a football professional contract. So really talented young player as well.
Oh, and he stands strong there. And what I like about a goalkeeper is he has the bravery to stand still and just says hit me, and then roars back at him when it cannons off his chest.
They talk about for keepers, keep their shoulders there, use their body as a stop rather than trying to drop. So he's been really clever with his body there. He saved it with his body knowing it's coming.
Yeah, he's braced himself for the blow that was about to come, because that was rocketed at him.
Keeper, you have to have a mind of your own, right?
Wouldn't catch me doing it, that's for sure. This is Manata now for Escolla as they try and just make a bit of a power play here, 5v4.
Yeah, they're having to do this because of the scoreline. They probably didn't want to risk this so early. This could turn out, this could go both ways. Okay.
Decision goes Escolla's way. Restrepo wins the kick in off Miller. And with Bustamante. Enrique de Carmo trying to find that second post.
It's not a bad ball. That's not a bad ball. You'd want your players there to commit to that second post. Because if in that area, Camilo should have been there ready to put it in the tap-in, if you like.
Manata read it, needed to. That's a little bit of an error, got away with that, did Will Mackey. And now another chance for Wessex. Oh, it's another goal. That one's tough to take if you're London Escolla, and particularly if you're Morgan Worsfold, Greg. It's 5 for Wessex.
What you can take from this, what you can take from this is, that ball is the second post. He's not gone to shoot. He's actually gone for the second post finish across the goal because the keeper's stranded. It's disappointing again, from Escolla, but he's tried to get there to stop it being tapped in at the second post.
Yeah, it's a brutal one for the defender there, isn't it? Has to do something. And it's an unfortunate OG as we head towards the 2-minute warning, as it were, here at the University of Wolverhampton. Here comes Tozer. Oh, just wide. Wessex here are really putting it on London Escolla. That's lovely from Bustamante. Miller was there.
It's really interesting because, Wessex is in this 2-1-1, so 2 pressing, 1 middleman covering and the backman, and they actually want Escolla to throw the ball on because physically then it's more matched up.
Comfortable save there for Philpott.
And there's times that Vito's got to throw it long, but there's times where he's got to play. He's got to get 3 versus 2 on the first line and move that ball. And, Conor Miller, Adam Barr, they're happy for it to go long and challenge for it in the air. And it's just playing into their hands a little bit too much.
Nothing coming from the corner kick in the end. That's a clever little set piece. Miller can turn this over though. Doesn't really have support, but he will win the free kick.
Clever there from Miller again.
He's so experienced.
His game management there, he's just rolled the ball with his left foot, shielded it, waited for the defenders to come and try to take a snap and just rolled it into the space and go, come on then, clatter me. I think we talked about earlier, drawing the foul.
Yeah, that's agonising to watch, isn't it? If you're Morgan Worsfold, Greg, and from London Escolla persuasion. They've just got to keep going, the team in blue. Things are going against them perhaps, and things are difficult. They have to keep going. They have to keep it competitive. It hasn't, in a strange sort of way, it hasn't been a battering. They've been so clinical, Wessex, but it's not like they're hammering Escolla. They've just taken their moments so much better.
Yeah, it's those moments like that, and that's the thing, it's such small details in futsal, because if you're out of position, you don't quite press right, you get caught not tracking, then the game's open. There's not another 4 or 5 players to rely on you if you don't track as a number 9. And what Wessex have done really well is they've punished.
Oh, what a move. New, can't get around Manata. That's such good goalkeeping. That was so clever from Wessex, and right out the playbook, wasn't it? You could see the routes being run almost like an NFL offense, wasn't it?
It was straight out of the playbook, straight from the kick-in, rotated round, screen runs, opened the court. You know, Wessex have got plays where they'll open up massive parts of the court to go and attack, and at the minute Escolla just can't stop that. But there we go again. You know, there's 2 versus 2 for Escolla. Can't get out the first line pressure. They need to actually go back, get face forward, play through the lines more so than they are doing.
So corner kick here for Wessex. It's Blaise Gatt who's trotted over to take it. Teed all the way back to Matthews. Wessex will restart with Adam Bart. And all their players so comfortable in all parts of the court. You know, Jordan Matthews loves getting forward, loves getting goals, but he's capable of playing as that back man and picking passes forward.
Yeah, brilliant there from Wessex. They're just moving the ball, switching of play, playing in a 3-1 or false pivot as he rotates round. Fantastic bit of play, keeping the ball under pressure.
It's Blaise Gatt finding Matthews, can't break the lines there. Shot comes in, decent save by Phil Pott. It's a real ambitious effort from Morgan Worsfold-Gregg, but he struck it well. Eager to make amends for that own goal, no doubt. Corner drafted back to Bustamante, who'll hit this. Adam Barr roars at him after making the block. Do you think these Wessex players fancy it a bit, Mike?
Just a bit. Well, you see that, you know, like it's I don't know if it's a cultural thing, but people love defending, right? So you see them cheering when defending because it's so important to get your defending right. It's so important to win those 1v1 defensive battles.
Matthews is going to try and go for goal. Manatta was scrambling back. He knows he's got the ability to pick out the back of the net from anywhere. You see there, Matthews immediately charging up court to lead the press until he's left on his own, and they're going to play 3 and a 1. Oh, route 1, and it nearly paid off for London Escolla in the end. They just ran out of time. Half time then here at the University of Wolverhampton, and this Tier 2 national final hasn't quite gone the way that London Escolla wanted. Wessex have been wonderful, so clinical. Jordan Matthews has a hat-trick. They're playing some scintillating stuff. Mike will chat it all through with Pippa when we come back.
half went really quick.
Welcome back to the University of Wolverhampton. We are at the Walsall campus for the final showdown between Wessex and London Escolla. The halftime score is 5-0. I mean, there's no shortage of goals here today. I mean, it's pretty clear that Wessex will be the team taking away the trophies today. But does that mean they'll get a promotion?
No, so because of COVID, because it's a shorter season, a summer showdown, the league's been structured in a way that there's no promotion and relegation, it's just winning this event, if you like. But in normal circumstances, there would have been a promotion to Tier 1. So I think what you've seen today is definitely a strong Wessex side that, for me, are a T1 team, really, or looking like a really good T1 team.
So 5-0. Let's take a look at the goals. Look at this. They've won the ball in possession there.
Yeah, so
it's 1-on-1.
Yeah, it's a great finish, isn't it? Yeah. We talked about the dominance they have in their team, and Conor Miller there, the Northern Irish international, he's got a great left foot. What a great finish, like you say.
Great bottom right-hand corner. Look at the turn. He just changes direction, falls where he's going, the defender. The defender doesn't have a clue.
Yeah, it's brilliant. It was really early as well, so it caught Escolla on the back foot.
And this is goal
and then
number
again,
2.
Probably a star man of this half, Jordan Matthews, under 21, really dominant, really strong, really powerful. He's got 3 already, but he's been on fire.
Let's have a look at goal number 3 here. Now look at this. Goalkeeper does a save initially.
Yeah, it's
a lovely, cheeky little finish. Very clever.
Very clever. So he's took his strike hard. Goalkeeper's done well, actually, and then he's not even put his foot down and lifted it. So good finish.
And this is goal number 4. Pretty similar thing where the goalkeeper's made a save with the chest but hasn't been able to hold on to the ball.
Jordan Matthews has been a powerhouse. Any mistakes in front of the goal by Escolla, they've picked up, they've finished, and that's the aggression and the intensity they brought to this game. And it's just put Escolla under lots of pressure and got his third.
Now it's unfortunate because the 5th and final goal of the first half was our own goal. Now, London Escolla have had their chances, but I didn't expect them to put it in the other team's net, and this is where this happened. Oh well.
What a finish again, yeah. Brilliant goal. Brilliant goal. He's just been brilliant, hasn't he? Yeah. Jordan Matthews has been absolutely on fire. And again, there's that lift again. It's just clever little finish.
Here we go. This is the goal. This is the goal. I'm pretty sure he tried to clear it off his line, but
it's really difficult because in futsal, because the goals are smaller, the back post is open because the keeper has to go out. And he's managed to try and get it into that back post, and the defender's got no chance but to try and clear it. But unfortunately, he's took it into his goal, and that's 5-0.
As things stand, I mean, we saw in the women's game that it's a game of 2 halves. A team could be winning clearly in the first half, and a team could come back. Does Escolla have a chance 5-0 down?
Well, it's really difficult. I think they'll be really disappointed because they get caught like rabbits in a headlight a little bit. So I think they're going to be. It's a really uphill battle for them. I can see actually Wessex getting more goals because Escolla have got to change the way they play. I've got to be more risky with the ball. Can they get back in it? Yeah, but I think it's going to be massive.
But Escolla did have some chances though. We've got to say great goalkeeping and great defence, because look at the chances Escolla have had. Yeah,
and the chances that they built. Charlie Philpott needed to be on song as well, a good keeper for Wessex. They've created one or two good chances.
Yeah, I mean, slapped him right in the face. he doesn't flinch. He's celebrating the save.
Yeah, these keepers are brave. They're strong. With Joy Lowe earlier, they split themselves and they use their body and their face to save the ball. As blocks. So, just like handball or ice hockey keepers as we've seen. So they're not afraid to use their body to. This was amazing by Henrique.
Look at the block of the line here. That's outstanding. That's what you want to see.
Yeah. And it was just, you know, they're trying. It's really, they'll be really disappointed with how they started the game, because they have grown into the game. They've created chances.
Look at the shot here.
Good strike here again, and at times
the goalkeeper's just amazing.
yeah, and at
He's
times
done pretty well.
they've done really well with the ball, but the keeper's then the next one to finish. But they're just going to be really disappointed with their start, really.
Well, that is the first half, 5-0 to Wessex. I'm going to let Michael get back to his commentary section with Jamie Stevenson.
All right then, ladies and gents, back looking live at the University of Wolverhampton. This is the score as things stand. Wessex 5, London Escolla 0. It's been a tough score this for London Escolla. Team's not quite back out with us here on court, but it won't be long until they are. A reminder of what we still have to come. This kickoff is just after 2:30. It is Pro Futsal London against London Helvetia. This for the winner of the National Series 1. This for a place in the Champions League. Well, players slowly making their way back out onto court, making their way back into the commentary box is Mike Scabala. Mike, this has been an interesting game for me. I think in some ways Wessex have slightly exceeded my expectations, and in some ways London Escolla have not quite lived up to them. But is the simple difference in that experience and match practice? Because these Wessex players, they're vastly more experienced, they can handle the occasion a little bit better, almost rise to it. The Escolla players just seem to be playing a little bit within themselves.
Yeah, I think the moment probably got to Escolla to start off with. I was just chatting with Pippa about that, actually, that, you know, the intensity in which Wessex have brought with and without the ball has been a different level for Escolla, but, you know, and also in those transitions. And then they've got the firepower, so, you know, in front of the goals, and what they've tried to do is force mistakes, force errors early doors from Escolla, and they got those goals up, and now it's just going to be that huge upward battle for Escolla. But don't get me wrong, like, Wessex have been brilliant with their intensity with and without the ball.
There's a glimpse there of Harry Tozer, the number 9 for Wessex. He's not been too involved in front of goal. He hasn't had to be. The main goal scoring thrust has come from Jordan Matthews, and hasn't he done it well? We're still waiting to see London Escolla out onto court. Imagine that means they're having a fairly in-depth half-time discussion. Here come the boys, they're back out.
Yeah, they've got some, like Harry Tozer was signed from Manchester, so they've got some experience from Wessex. You know, Harry Tozer playing in Tier 1 with Manchester the last few years, and moved down to South, and now he's playing for Wessex. So they're picking up some really good Tier 1 talent, if you like, and from on today's show, you would say they're close to being a Tier 1 threat to the next level. Yeah,
I should say so. No promotion on the line, worth pointing out for these Tier 2 players. It's a much shortened, truncated season, this summer Showdown. It's a chance for all forms of the national game to really just give us a bit of a showcase, what we've been missing for the last year. So nothing on the line in terms of promotion, but Wessex here making a case for when eventually we get going in a proper sense and the season gets restructured to maybe be bumped up a little bit.
Yeah, putting that flag in the sand, if you like, and saying we're ready. And from today's show and dominating so much, you know, I think they'll be very, very strong next season and pushing for that promotion.
A change in the goalkeepers for London Escolla. Vitor Manata is benched. Oh, chance here maybe for Durkin. Oh, he's fouled there. Oh, the referee gives nothing. Surprised at that one, but play continues with Escolla. And here is the first touch for the new goalkeeper, the number 2. That's Max Burrell. Oh, as Tozer flies in, nearly causes some structural damage, but he nearly got himself a goal, more importantly for him, and he was very close to that.
Brilliant from Tozer. And again, Wessex, you know, being really direct in what they do, move the ball quick, and if you switch off defensively for a second, they earn your back. We say earn your back. You on the blind side. So as your head looks to look at the ball on a set piece, clever attackers will wait till you look at the ball and then move off your shoulder, and that's what we saw there.
Escolla back underway. Restrepo. It's a good cross too, and an important defensive position by Harry Toes, doing it at both ends of the court. That'll just nip out of play from Burrell. You like the cut of Burrell's jib, you were telling me a little bit earlier. These two goalkeepers very, very similar in the sense they love to have the ball with their feet, both very talented. Yeah,
it's just how and when to use it, because sometimes you can overuse it, but Max Burrell's feet are fantastic. He joins in a bit like Charlie Philpott at the other end. If he joins in, they can go and actually create things.
It's good strength by De Carmo, and in fact he wins a free kick for his treble as well from Adam Bart. If you are the London Escolla coach at half-time, what do you say to these young lads? I know you've been in that situation.
Without swearing, right?
Yeah, but I know you've been in that situation with young squads when they're up against it.
Yeah, you've got to stick to the plan. I always say you've got to have your plan and you've got to stick to it. And at times, the manager needs to change it, but staying on task when it gets hard is the most important thing in futsal. And I think what happened early doors is because it didn't quite go to plan, they just drifted off their plan, and actually they needed to stay on task a little bit more. So it'd be more about, what are our qualities? What do we need to do to get back in this game? The first goal is going to be important. So it'd just be reassuring. You can't give them anything new because you haven't worked on it.
It's brilliant from Miller. Tozer takes over. Oh, that nearly snuck in for another. It's a good save in the end from Burrell.
Tactically, one or two things I would say is be more aggressive in the first line pressure. Stop them playing long into the pivots, and then physically make sure, as a backman, you're in front of Jordan Matthews kind of pivot. So you, like we've talked about earlier, stopping at a source, but be more aggressive, right?
Just watching that a second time, it was nearly another own goal, wasn't it, Enrique De Carmo, on that occasion.
I think what you'll see from Wessex here is number 6 and number 4 blocking and screening to try and open up for Conor Miller to have that strike. So again, to the naked eye, it's not very tactical, but actually there's loads of things going on that players are having to deal with.
Yeah, I suppose if you're familiar with, as Calvin Miller meets the advertising hoardings, I suppose you're familiar with sports such as basketball, where this sort of thing happens a lot. American football's another one with lots of blocks and screens and moving parts. Very, very similar, especially from set pieces, because that's when space opens up. The whole battle on a futsal court, such limited room, is to make space. Yeah, that's it. It's to try and use each other to make space, and it's very difficult to get an overload by just adding another man, right? So in football you might go 6-5-5, try and push a player on. You're trying to create overloads through a myriad of choreography of movement. You're trying to create overloads by either blocking a player, screening a player, certain types of movements, and then exploiting that overload and applying that overload. Loose pass from Escolla, that was Worsfold Greg. It's a good ball from Burrell, Restrepo. Just crowded out, maybe a chance here, but Toes won't get on the end of that. It was slightly loose from Blaze Gap, and he pops his hand up in apology. Bit better start here from Escolla. I think they've started this half obviously a lot better than they started in the first half. They're 2-0 down by this point, I think. But they're just dominating a little bit, getting up court better. Restrepo's really got the ability as a pivot to hold the ball up well. He was unsuccessful there, of course, but he does have a lovely touch about him. Super talent, he's a super talent. He's got great feet. He probably just needs to be better at using his body. It's Matthews. Oh, he's so good. Number 4 of the day for Jordan Matthews. It's number 6 for Wessex. Goal out of nothing, and they continue to run rampant. And that's the thing, I would have said to him at half time, you've got to get pressure on the ball and good pressure on the ball. There's no pressure on the ball there. And players with quality can score at this level with no pressure on the ball. It's come from back to front, it's come into the central area. I didn't see any pressure on the ball. Yeah, and you can't say you weren't warned with Jordan Matthews, already a hat-trick to his name. He's got such a clean strike of the ball, such an accurate strike of the ball as well. He's a fair decent distance out considering how small the goal is, and he's already picked his spot, and it's hit that hard from that central. Difficult for the keeper to do anything about it.
Too hard, and like we talked about, that at the top level you shoot with power.
Oh! Off the post for London Escolla.
It's just not going to be their day, is it?
James Durkin denied. Actually thought for a moment that'd come off the frame of the goal, inside the goal. That's how close it was. Even when Charlie Philpott's beaten, he's still got a helping hand. That's Terry New looking to flick things on. He's looking for another goal in this competition. He's already got 4 to his name. Oh, and it's not your day, it's not your day.
Yeah, we were talking about at half-time, do we think there'll be more goals? I said I think we'll see more. Sadly, I thought we'd see more for Wessex because the game's going to be open. Escolla have got a push, and we've just seen another one there. Great finish by Jordan.
So close they came. Carmo sealed out by Jordan Matthews. Just caught a little glimpse below us. The London Helvetia team are in the building. Just keeping an eye on this game. Oh no! Well, when it's not going for you, it really isn't going for you. That is so good from Camilo Restrepo.
Yeah, we talked about his feet, how he can roll players if he could use his body. They've created some good chances. They've just not finalised in the way that they would normally.
It's got to be frustrating if you're an Escolla player, or I mean anyone to do with the club at the moment. 2 chances there, which make the scoreline like a whole lot more respectable. Brilliantly created, and they've missed by 1 inch. Said it in the first, I'll say again, tough school.
Tough school, and the fine details of this game is what costs you. And if we talked about, if it doesn't quite go, if you don't quite strike, you don't quite pick your players up, you get punished. I always say this game gives you feedback as a player. Whether you make the right decision or wrong decision, you're going to get punished.
Matthews again, he'll keep this in. He's a real talent, isn't he?
Yeah, he's a threat. We had him in the England 21s programme when it was going, and he can drive with the ball, super strike, right foot, but he's got better and better as the years have gone on, and he's just dominating this game for me now.
It's a great ball from Durkin. Was for Greg. Little bit selfish there. Enrico De Carmo telling him so. He was inside him with an option. Philpott looking for New. Durkin battling away well.
What a great throw that is from Charlie Philpott. Just dropping it there into that space.
Looks like a quarterback, isn't he?
Yeah, javelin throw we call it, keeping it flat, keeping it fast. Because if the defender tries to nick it in front, he's probably only going to head it out. So it gets you up the court really quickly.
Well, the Escolla coach is absolutely seething.
Just needs to calm down here.
Yellow card for the coach. So Leandro Afonso. I think I just heard from my own ears there, he's telling his boys to keep their heads.
I think it was the assistant telling the head coach, actually. Keep your head, don't get sent off.
Yeah, quite right too. It's Stuart Lee, the assistant. A little bit more of a calmer figure.
So here we see the 5v4, Charlie Philpott playing as a fly. This is killing time. This is going to be one of those situations where they're happy to run the clock down now, eat away at those minutes.
Yeah, because you back a 5v4, especially with the quality of Wessex, just to be able to keep the ball.
Yeah.
You can't press that too much if you're
not
a scholar,
as easily.
because you can press it, but it's not as easy. Because if you make a mistake, it's generally a goal.
Yeah, and the top teams, the tier 1 top teams would press that still, or have moments in that where they really know how to press. But I don't think Escolla got the experience and even played against it very much. So they'll just wait for the ball to go out. But in a way, Wessex will just run the clock down with it.
Matthews, oh, it's danger here. Free kick goes against him. Escolla get the decision for them there. Could have gone either way. They'll be pleased it went for them.
I think we're probably seeing, aren't we, an efficient machine versus a nice machine. I think that's probably
what usually wins finals.
Yeah, efficiency, you know. Wessex today have been just really efficient in what they've done. Great cutting off passing lines there from Jordan, and that's the difference in the detail. So as Jordan Matthews came out there, he arced his body so the ball can come out to Max Burrell, and all of a sudden it's a 2v2 in a tight area. And Escolla haven't been cute enough to know when that pressure's coming in, what direction it's been coming at. Again there.
Oh, it's a Campbell from Burrell and he gets away with it. Escolla keep possession just.
Wessex have been really good at 2 versus 3. So they pressed on the first line against 3 Escolla players, but they cut off one of them with a passing line. So one player's doing 2 jobs at once, and that's where they've done really well and caused Escolla all sorts of problems of getting out the pressure.
Jordan Matthews just getting a word from the referee there. Most action the referees had to deal with has been in the dugouts.
Yeah, it's been physical, but it's not been dirty, if you know what I mean.
Adam Barr with the strike. It's a really good save by Burrell. There you see that toe punt finish, so prevalent in futsal, so effective, and you can see why the power generated from very minimal backlift gave Burrell a real problem there. Good save.
And that's the power it brings.
Bustamante echoing really what Adam Barr did at the end of the first half. It is a strange sort of quirk of the game.
Brilliant.
Defenders absolutely love defending.
Here it is again. Clever.
New can bring it down. Can he finish? Yes, he can. That is a brilliant goal. And every single member of the Wessex team celebrate it as if they scored it themselves. A gorgeous move, superbly finished. It's Terry New's 5th goal of the Summer Showdown.
Yeah, what a finish. We talked about this earlier. You know, we talked about, Escolla don't know when to press. Charlie Philpott came up, Conor Miller dropped off, and 3 Escolla players pressed at once. They didn't get the pressure right against the keeper in a 5v4. All of a sudden, there's an open player and the quality to get the ball there and the finish.
Oh, it's brilliant from Matthews. It's a really good save by Burrell. New was shoved there by Durkin. Durkin doesn't like that decision, unsurprisingly. It was nearly such a good goal from Matthews. That was brilliant from Terry New.
It's a tough day at the office, isn't it? For London Escolla at the moment. It seems to be everything that's going against them. I think, it's a difficult decision now for the manager because it fly, and it could be even more, but it's a final, so might as well try and get back in it 13 minutes, try and use the fly keeper as much as possible and just see if you can get something from it.
Free kick then, it is direct. Adam Barr. Number 4 over at the left foot of Conor Miller is also interested.
It'd be interesting to see if they use their power in Conor Miller's left foot, Jordan Matthews' right foot, Adam Barr's. I think one's going to run over it. There we go.
Barr tried to place it, couldn't beat the goalkeeper Burrell. Something you quite often see with a free kick like that, the goalkeeper actually goes in front of the wall.
Definitely, because then you can be the block, you can use your hands, so probably set-up wise you sometimes split and have people either side. It's so hard to score from a central area. I think it would be better to move that ball offline there and then set it back for a shot.
Yeah, it looks almost quite tepid, doesn't it, the finish in the end from Adam Barr, but if you probably looked at it from his point of view, there probably wasn't even a window to score there when he took the strike on.
Yeah, shoot hard, shoot high. We say shoot in the face of the goalkeeper, make them save it. But I think they could have shown more quality in what they've got there. But maybe something for them to work on, trying to get into Tier 1, is those types of moments where they need to show a little bit more cleverness.
Bustamante, with Burrell flying up. And the goalkeepers can have as much of the ball as they like in the opposition half, only 4 seconds in their own.
This is it, they need to use this fly.
Bustamante fires it, there's the chance! And Lucas Costa will want that one back immediately.
Yeah, that's it, they've got to use the fly, they've got to try and get those half chances. It just seems when they get to the finalisation, they're just not managed to finish.
Decision goes against Escolla again. It's Finley Scott there, who's been penalised for the handball. Handballs in general, pretty severe in futsal. Don't tend to get much leeway with it at all.
No, you've got to get your arms out of the way. You see some defenders with their arms behind the back in the 1v1s just because they don't want to give anything away in this 10-metre box, if you like.
Well, Barr and Matthews stood over the set piece. New and Miller. There is Miller, no way through. Might be now. Still no way through. Burrell does really well. And he's pushed out of the D.
Yeah, I thought he was just shoved out of the D there. Again, Wessex, I think that's something where they can improve on it. They didn't really show anything there but a shot.
Well, Miller goes through Lucas Costa. And he's experienced enough to know that the referee will want a word with him. And yeah, that's probably a yellow card.
Yeah, I'd
flies
so.
through the back of him.
You can't do that. It's, it's dangerous play. Didn't need to do it either. They're 7-0 up. They're comfortable. Could have pressed. It was.
What does it tell you about them? The fact that they are still playing with that intensity at this scoreline.
The passion, the intensity, the aggressiveness of what they want to press, and that's probably winning the game. They're out of possession. Possession game today has been absolutely phenomenal.
Bro, that's a good ball. Might break here to Bustamante, and there's the goal. Escolla have really, really worked hard for that, and you can see what it means to get a goal on this stage. For Max Bustamante of London Escolla, it's a fantastic finish.
It's a great finish. It's a superb strike. He saw Charlie Philpott coming out. He knew he needs to strike through it really hard. But what's good about that is managed to keep it low. A lot of times when you get that power on it, keeping it low is not as easy as it looks. Brilliant strike.
And they have deserved that, Escolla, as well. They've had a couple of moments, particularly in the second half, where they've been so unlucky. Here's the slow-mo of this. You'll see what he had to be. A perfect view of it. Through the forest, wasn't it?
Yeah. One place it could have gone, through the gaps. Brilliant strike.
Finley Scott there to make the block. Now with Matthews. That's clever. New. Brilliant, brilliant, brilliant goal.
That
futsal at its finest.
That is futsal at its finest. What a goal! The pressure was strong, but they managed to create 2v1s, little wall passes, double wall passes. So Jordan Matthews into the forward play, and then a 1-2, and then a second post as well, a second post finish. Superb goal.
Such a good goal. They've played some wonderful stuff at times, quite a lot of times in this match of Wessex. They've done the dirty stuff, they've done difficult stuff as well. My goodness me, they've scored some fine goals.
Yeah, and they've done it with intensity in possession. I think that's what's really probably shocked Escolla, is that they've not just played a good game, they've played with a real high intensity, which I feel like Escolla just struggled to match all game really in that sense.
Difficult to live with.
There it is again, wall pass. Clever from Blaze Gap here, could have struck and striked, but took the keeper out of the game. Thank you very much.
Now, plenty of these Wessex players, speaking to Jeff Bonner in the week, he was saying that they were all so excited for this opportunity, for what they saw as the chance to showcase what they can do on a big stage. And you've got to be pleased from a Wessex perspective for how well they've done that. Yeah,
and Jeff built a side over the last couple of years that he wants to compete, he wants to be in that tier 1, he wants to be challenging people for a Champions League spot. And I think what you've seen today is they've put a marker down.
Danger. Terry New at the back post. Gap's just going to hold this up. And eventually Burrell makes the save. Couldn't quite pick out New, who is on a hat-trick. Oh, Matthews strikes the ball so well. Crashes the post. It's a Wessex ball.
What a
over
strike.
On the far side. That's so well controlled, isn't it? Still a long way to go in the second half. Just clocked the clock and ball's been out of play a lot in the second half. Still 11 minutes to go, and that is a long 11 minutes if you're London Escolla. Matthews, clever.
Clever. See what he tried to do is just chip it over the knee there, just because the defender came in. Smart from Jordan Matthews there.
Matthews again, tries the back heel, no way through. Burrell. Bustamante. That's a brilliant tackle by New.
Wow.
Look what it means to those Wessex players over on the bench. It's sort of worth putting this into perspective. You know, these are players who've not been able to play at all with it being an indoor sport for so many months. They love their craft, they love what they do, and the chance to showcase it in this summer showdown, and then on the big stage here today, this means everything to them. Here's New for the hat-trick. Absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, wow, it's tough. It's a tough for Escolla, but you know, relentless. Wessex are being relentless in their task. You know, we did talk about earlier that they want to be a Tier 1 team and they want to show the world that they can do this. And like you said, you know, these guys haven't played futsal for over a year because of COVID. This is meaning so much to them, more than anything, to be back on the court. But more than anything, these guys love competing, right?
Look at that for a finish. So well taken from Terry New. Another one of the experienced core at the heart of this Wessex unit. And for Escolla now, it's about learning, isn't it? It's about seeing what they can produce. It's interesting to see there as James Durkin wearing the fly goalkeeper top. I think that was inevitable.
Yeah, I think that's inevitable. We're going to probably try and play with James Durkin as a fly and risk it. I think maybe they should have gone earlier with that, to be honest. Like, it's difficult for a coach, but you know, at 7-0, 12 minutes, I think they could have gone earlier. Because the downside of using the fly keeper is the ball's in play more, so the clock will be rolling more in your own possession. So I think with so many scorelines to go, that to catch up, it's going to be really tough, really tough. But come on, let's give it a go. Let's see if you can get one or two.
They've been valued for that, to be fair.
Yeah, they've not stopped, have they? They've kept going, they've kept trying. The goal meant so much to them, but we said it in the start. We said it throughout the showdown before. You start halves badly, you start the first half, the second half badly. You know, it doesn't need to be nice, but if you start these halves badly, it's a challenge. It's a challenge to get these goals back.
So first time we've seen this today. James Durkin wearing 66, the fly goalkeeper jersey. Has to be a nominated goalkeeper, that's why he's wearing that.
Oh, interesting here. We haven't seen this before in the showdown. They're using like double 3-in lines to try and overload.
Worked it really well. Durkin has absolutely no intention of getting back to...
So it's like a triangle, or it's like a 1-2-2, but two 10s coming inside, if you like, in football. But it's more of a triangle in terms of how they're using it. So we haven't seen that, and that's basically an aggressive way of flying. You know, so tactically it's just an aggressive way rather than having a safe pass. The safe pass is just a Batman, and that's it. So yeah, they're going after it with that decision.
So cute from Charlie Philpott. Can't constantly use the fly, of course, because you want to keep the door shut at the other ends. So you'll see there, just going out of shot there, James Durkin will stay in that sub box, ready to be released when the time's right.
Yeah, what they'll try and do is get James Durkin on when it's their ball.
Miller, nearly.
It's their ball in the attacking half, or they have a corner, they'll try and change then. They don't want to risk it and just run out aimlessly, because it'll just cause more problems.
It's a great strike from Miller, but he's taken a painful one on the ankle there. Yeah, as tough as they come. It looks like he's going to be swapped out. Does he know? He feels he can play on. And there goes the fly keeper. Just about maintained position. Now they set up for it.
Yep. So they'll set up again, 1-2-2. Two coming inside to try and create a double overload on the wingers.
That was a gamble, and Miller can't make it pay.
What they're trying to do with that is get the two wingers to press the two inside players, the inverted players, if you like, to leave space on the wide areas. And when they get the ball to the really wide and high players, then you'll see the other two players spin and go into the gaps. It's high risk, So they're trying to pull out the wingers to come and play against them. So the top man is sort of matched up with the ball carrier.
Yeah, the player on the near side here is almost by the corner flag.
Yeah, so both of them will be high, but they want to get the ball to the wide areas and overload. So this one here.
There's the ball. That's the risk. It's not quite going to spin in. That's what they're trying to do.
That's what they're trying to do, but it's a little bit obvious, right? So, you know, at times, because they're inverted, they might have to, if he can get it to the first line players, he can spin inside and get it that way. So it's just a little bit prescribed, but you can see what they're trying. And at times, the wide players might need to come a little bit deeper so they can get on it face forward and then get that strike to the second post. So here we go again.
Again, they're setting up for it. It's a fascinating way to play. And if you're Wessex, it's tough to defend. This is hard work. Yeah,
they're comfortable because they're not being moved, but it's this pass here where they're trying to draw the two players together. But Conor Miller's not going tight, and this is a tactical bit. He's operating an area to stop the passing line, but not going too tight. There it is.
Yeah, no way through.
No way through. So this is like, we talked about the clever bit. If you get tight because you're worried about him having the ball, then it leaves the space and gaps in behind. So Conor Miller's used to this in that wide area, and he's operating and owning the space.
It's just saying to Escolla, isn't it? If you play an unbelievable pass, then well done to you, but we're going to make it as difficult as humanly possible.
That's it, and that lending of pass from that backman is trying to draw the players towards the ball a lot more. So they're trying to lend the pass, draw the players, suck them in to go round or to go through. But Wessex are having none of it at the moment. So here it is again. Can you draw the players? Now this would be interesting because there we go. He's a little bit younger and might get there. He's got drawn to it.
Escolla win themselves a corner. Still 7.5 minutes remaining in this Tier 2 final, and what a performance it has been from Wessex Futsal Club. 9-1 lead, still plenty of time left. Decision goes against Escolla. Wessex can make their substitutes. Escolla will bring the keeper back out.
Fair play to Escolla here, you know, when they've got into that fly, they've looked like they're trying to do quite well and enforce it. Wow.
That's a brilliant press breaker, isn't it, for Philpott?
Wow.
Joins the attack on a 3v1, couldn't make it work.
Clever from Charlie Philpott there, just popping into the pocket. You know, you don't see that very often. Leave the two defenders, and what it caught out was Escolla's first line press. Through them, off we go. That's been the difference, those quality of decisions. So here, what you could do as an attacker is go and pin and feel the defender, so you know exactly where they are.
No way through for Restrepo. Again, the shot will come in from severe range, but it didn't quite manage to stay in bounds. Yeah, you just feel like Wessex have figured this out.
Yeah.
There needs to be a little bit more from Escolla.
They need to change, or they need to be a little bit more like aggressive in how they do it. And also, there's no point doing it in front of Conor Miller as a top player. You want to do it behind his back, so he has to move backwards like that. There you go.
Beautifully played. Can they finish? No, the final ball wasn't quite there for Restrepo, but that was much better.
Much better. And you saw that, the diagonal one through, and then the out ball, again, a double diagonal, if you like. So pop in between, play diagonal, and you're free with a 3v1.
Whenever you see those diagonal passes, they are everything on a futsal court, aren't they?
Kills the block. You know, straight lines to straight passes don't work, so it's diagonal passes to straight runs are really important.
And amazingly, at 9-1 up, Wessex still more than happy to fly themselves and make it difficult.
Yeah.
And here's the chance. Can they find the finish? Not quite. Jordan Matthews was looking to be in again.
And that is just a time management thing now. They're just going, what, you're trying to score, we'll run the clock down. We'll get Charlie Philpott over here and we'll just keep the ball as long as we can.
That's really well read. Hammered away. Oh, Matthews has done so well. Can't quite keep it past the third player though. Bustamante.
Oh, brilliant feet.
Yeah, see you later. Oh, and he nearly got there in the end. It's another brilliant bit of defending, this time by Terry New. Can't question the heart of these Escolla players. They're still giving it absolutely
everything. They're giving it everything. It's, you know, they should be really proud of that. Bustamante there, his feet are brilliant. Pressing high here.
not playing like a team that's 9-1 down, are
No,
they?
they're not.
And that's a credit to them. 5.5-ish minutes left to go in this one. Back on comes James Durkin to play as that fly goalkeeper. Set up again in this almost arrowhead formation from the base of the attack. Space created and the shot across the face by Bustamante, not troubling the goalkeeper on that occasion.
It's tough as a coach to know, how to change this, because you've set out your game plan. It's not gone too well from the start. It's like sometimes it's out of your hands, and you're really thinking. I've been in situations where after 2 minutes with 3-0 down, it's like, how do you get back in this game? And sometimes what you try, you just, doesn't go for you.
Philpott breaks the press, really clever. Oh, and Matthews nearly had himself another one. Well, it's one of the age-old questions in any sport, isn't it? It's what happens when you set up a game plan, you spend that time creating that, and you get to game day and all of a sudden nothing matters.
Yeah, it's just not worked.
It is so difficult.
A little bit like Wales yesterday in the Euros, right? They had a game plan, started well, something changed, and all of a sudden, the game's gone. And it feels a little bit like that for Escolla today. They definitely had a plan, didn't start very well. They've given it everything emotionally, they've given it everything mentally that they could, but Wessex have been on it. Their firepower today has just been another level that Escolla just couldn't contain.
Yeah, and there's absolutely no shame in that. The finishing from Wessex at times was absolutely brilliant.
Here it is again. This suits them better.
That's
because
more like it. Restrepo! That would have been a spectacular
I was
goal.
going to say, for the coaches out there, this suits them better because James Durkin's a left-footed, so they're playing inverted, where sometimes he comes over the other side and he can't get that hook pass through the diagonal, so even the foot of the players is important.
Matthews looking for another one, still hungry for it. He's got such good feet, hasn't he?
What a ball. That second post again, what a ball, what feet.
It's one thing that it's strange. It's actually what Andrew talked about earlier. He wanted to see ballers. He wanted to see that amazing skill, which does define futsal at some stages. You don't see it all the time, but it's when it's almost forced out of a player. They have that natural creativity.
100%. I think people think that players come out and they just do skills sometimes in futsal.
Let's have a watch of this.
Not at all.
Watch this for feet.
Brilliant.
Absolutely amazing.
What futsal gives you is constraints that bring out tight situations where players have to have ways of getting out. Brazilians call it the laboratory of experiment, if you like. But you're right, it's a passing game, it's a moving game. But because it's fast and it's tight and there's high pressure, sometimes you need that individual flair to get you out of situations, especially in the right moments and high up court. And that's what we saw there. But for me, it's a passing and moving game.
Yeah, and the feet is almost a given because everyone's got it.
Yeah, do you know what I was going to say? Is like the technical ability is everyone sees, but I'm saying like, show me a futsal player that can't deal with the ball, right? I think they all can deal with the ball, but the top teams can deal with the ball, can go past people 1v1, can shoot hard, and can tactically together work as 2s and 3s to pop and pass and move that ball, dominate space. We talk about dominating space, looking after your space, creating space.
Set piece then for Escolla. Enrique De Carmo runs over it. Durkin tees it. Oh, chance here for De Carmo. Can't quite get it on target. And they have had chances.
Nice little set piece.
This scoreline should be a lot closer.
Yeah, we saw there a training ground set piece, like we talked about earlier about set plays, how important they are. They've done well. They've just, it seems like every shot, every moment's gone against them. But I just think that they've been bulldozed by the intensity, the power in Jordan Matthews, Conor Miller, Adam Barr that they bring to this.
Oh, Jenkins lost it. Did do really well to win it back. Not a foul. Agree with that. Bustamante can't quite beat Matthews, who will chase that lost cause. Sealed out by Warsford Greg.
This is a challenge in the fly keeper not to become too predictable.
Done really well there, Restrepo. Got his shot wrong. Decent chance as well.
Decent chance, could have gone second post, I think.
Restrepo again. Enrique De Carmo. Bustamante can't quite get around the other side of Matthews.
Yeah, I was going to say they need to switch play here to right over the other side to the other attacker, because there's loads of space. So they need to move that ball out of the high pressure area and get it round.
Oh, Burrell's almost doing shuttle runs to that substitution area, isn't he? No way through for DeCarmo, and News away here. DeCarmo tried to foul him, didn't, and Terry New will be fuming he's missed that. DeCarmo's going to get himself a talking to here. It was a cynical one.
Yeah, it's a bit naughty that, but no, in the end, he's trying to stop him scoring, so...
Yeah, it's understandable, but he's still going to need a little talking to.
Yeah.
Terry New will have really wanted that.
Right idea, just try to lift it.
Yeah, it's a difficult technique, and especially as well, we haven't touched on it too much, but whenever you get the chance to get a futsal at your feet, the ball itself is much denser, much heavier. That sort of technique is actually very difficult with one of those balls.
It's weird because generally the futsal ball operates differently to a football, so it will accelerate really quickly, and then as it gets inertia, it will slow down. Whereas a football will accelerate in the later moments.
Ooh. And Phil Potts done it. You get the sense he's been thinking about that ever since London Escolla started flying, and now the goalkeeper gets in on the act. It's double figures for Wessex.
Great technique from Charlie Philpott there. Knew the goal's open. Like we talked about, players have to have technique, keepers as well. They can find it with the feet, but he's really pleased with that.
He's looked the business, hasn't he, Charlie Philpott?
Yeah,
really a good game.
To a man, Wessex have been brilliant. To a man, they've really enjoyed this. You can see them enjoying themselves. Competitive, strong.
Well, it's set up, isn't it, from that first 5 minutes. When you go 3-0 up, it almost relieves all of that sort of pre-match tension and nerves, and it just lets you find that freedom just by virtue of having a little bit less pressure because you are 3-0 up.
Yeah, definitely. And the way they play, the intensity they bring, it just kept going and going and going, and Escolla haven't really had the answer.
Back with Escolla and Camilla Restrepo. It's clever. Plays gap to Terry New. And a break here to Bustamante. Final couple of minutes, and as we approach the end of this one, Mike, I know you've probably been thinking about it in the back of your mind. This is a tough. We had a tough call in the first game, but this is a tough call for slightly different reasons, because you could nominate so many people. Who is your player of the match for this one?
Yeah, did some great performances from Wessex. Adam Barr, Conor Miller, as we say. But for me, the main man's been Jordan Matthews, who's been absolutely leading from the front. Scored obviously lots of goals, but really just led the line. Superb today. What a performance by him.
Shot comes in again from Escolla, but again Terry New, look at that, can he find the finish? No, that's that technique we talked about. It is tough.
I think Terry New's been really impressive this half. What a half he's had. He was a bit quieter the first half, but the second half he's been on fire.
Yeah, Jordan Matthews has been the difference maker as we enter towards the final minute. Enrique de Carma eventually finds room for the shot. New again is first to the second ball. And again, Escolla are in real trouble. Shot not taken on, it could have been. And now in transition, it's a 2v1. Went his own way, and Adam Barr stood tall. Lucas Costa is furious on that far side. Didn't get the ball from Finlay Scott, and I think he probably has a right to be.
Yeah, it's a difficult one. Finley's done well to keep it central, but then probably just needs to offload it and then go second post. Probably, sums up their day really, just not worked in whatever decision they've made. Tough day at the office, really.
Yeah, the definition of, hey. Save again by Philpott. It's a first touch in the final for Sam Hunter, the number 5 who's just come on for his moment in the sun. And there's going to be a substitute goalkeeper as well. Charlie Philpott has been absolutely superb. Charlie Budd comes on to get some moments on court.
You know, Escolla will take, you know, they won't feel it now because obviously, but, you know, there's no promotion and relegation like we said, it's just the summer showdown, but, you know, what they can do from this is learn a lot. You know, as a young group, an exciting group, can deal with the ball technically, you've got good goalkeepers, you know, they can take a lot away from this game because, you know, they dominate their league a little bit and they can take a lot away from this and think, wow, actually, you know, we've still got lessons to be learned here that we can impose ourselves more.
Well, what's the old phrase? If you're not winning, you're learning.
Yeah, brilliant. A lot to learn.
Yeah, it's been a tough score, as we've mentioned a few times, but that's what Escolla must take from this. The referee just wants one final word, and it's a yellow card for Lucas Costa. The frustration is palpable for the Escolla number 9. Final couple of moments, and that will do it. What a performance by Wessex. Absolutely sensational in a 10-1 victory. That is about as good as it gets if you're Wessex, the dream performance.
Yeah, the dream performance from Wessex, like you say, just, it's been amazing. You know, they've done really well. From minute 1, they didn't let Escolla have any time on the ball, dominated the ball in possession, dominated aggressively out of possession. Probably the best performance they could have brought, right?
Well, there is confirmation of that full-time scoreline. Wessex Futsal Club 10, London Escolla 1. It's Wessex who are the Tier 2 champions. Brilliant campaign for them in this truncated season. They've done everything right. They've had to really wait their turn to finally get out on court. By goodness me, haven't they made the most of it. The Wessex lads just over on the far side enjoying their moment. This is what they've worked so hard for. They're going to be one member light. That's because we'll be prepared to speak to the player of the match in a moment. And for Escolla, some lessons being learnt over on the far side. Let's hear then from our player of the match. Jordan Matthews is with Andrew.
Jordan, 10-1, you scored 4. That couldn't have gone any better.
No, it couldn't have. Great result. The lads, we've worked hard all season, training sessions, just praying for this game, especially on Wednesday. They're a good side, London. But yeah, what a result.
Great result. I just want to know, like, what I was seeing is straight bullying on the pitch, yeah? So I want to know, like, the way you guys played throughout the game, like the intensity, even when you was like 7-1 up, like you just kept going, and it's what was that resilient about? Just keeping going.
Well, in futsal, the game can change so quickly, especially with them bringing their keeper out. Our sort of main aim was to press aggressively and not let them use their keeper and bring them over the halfway line. And then when we got the ball, we were ruthless. We just didn't take the foot off the gas and carried on. So.
Talk to me about you talk about the keeper going up. Your keeper scored a worldie.
Yeah.
Talk to me about the whole tactics about, and because this is my first time watching futsal like in a proper level. I want to know, like, the keepers pushing up. Was this part of the game tactics as well?
It can be, yeah. So if we've got a kick in, it'll help us get out if they're pressing. So because if we bring our keeper up, it outnumbers them slightly because their keeper's still in goal. So pulling our keeper out wide, it outnumbers them. We can get out easier, but it depends how they press. So it can work both ways. It's risky, but there's positives to it as
risky
well.
as you saw because you guys scored from them pushing their keeper up. I don't know, your personal performance, 4 goals, man. When you woke up this morning, is that what you thought? I was hoping 5 from you. But you only gave me 4.
Well, it's not about me, it's about the team. So I don't mind scoring, but without them, I wouldn't be able to score. So credit to the team as well.
So I want to know how you guys are going to celebrate.
Not sure yet. We have nothing
yet?
planned. No, we're thinking about getting the game out of the way first and celebrations after.
But speaking about the team, yeah, and how you scored 4, and then even the keeper got in the action, it just shows like the togetherness of you guys.
Yeah.
How long has that been going on for?
We're a newly formed club, really. We've only been together for about a year, so it's just training, working hard together, getting the bond of each other, and knowing how people play, and just teaming up really. And yeah.
Perfect, man. I know you're lost for words right now, but I'll leave you to it, man.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you
Well
very
done,
much.
man.
Cheers,
Appreciate
thank you.
Wow. 10 goals, 5 apiece, 5 in each half. Unbelievable result for Wessex there. I mean, with the dominating performance, we did say they would probably win. But who would have thought they'll go on to get 10 goals? And the goalkeeper getting in on the action too.
Yeah, brilliant. You know, Wessex dominated from the start for me, you know, with the ball, without the ball, high intensity. Came out and really wanted to show like they're going to be a tier 1 team. But what a performance. And like you say, the goalkeeper even got on the act at the end. But well done, Wessex.
Now we can see they're collecting their medals there, the runners-up medal, and Wessex getting ready to receive the Champions Trophy. But it's a bit disappointing, as you mentioned earlier, they won't be promoted after such an amazing performance.
Yeah, I think that's, you know, with the rules of the league, they had to do a short season, so they'll be really disappointed this doesn't lead to promotion. But what this has definitely done is put a marker down for next season to say we think we're ready to be a tier 1 team.
Now we can see the winners getting ready to take their medals there. The goalkeeper up front with the 10th goal to secure the win, which was already a win in the first half, to be fair. But look at the winning team there. That just looks like a team of experience. Fast, dominant. It just seemed unfair for London at most times.
Yeah, you definitely saw their experience. You definitely saw the age of Conor Miller, Jordan Matthews, Adam Barr. They brought a lot of experience to this side in terms of international quality. They've been at this stage before. They know what it's about winning. And I just think they caught Escolla a little bit in the headlights at the start, and then all of a sudden it was just dominate after dominate after dominate through the game.
Would you say Escolla went wrong anywhere, or was just Wessex just the most?
I just think that, you know, like they had a game plan, they stuck to it, but unfortunately, if you don't, you know, start really well in both halves, there it is. If you don't start really well in both halves, it's really hard to get back into this game because you can get caught, and they kept getting caught, and they'll be disappointed, but they'll learn and they'll take away from this. But make no mistakes, they've been brilliant, Wessex.
Well-deserved champions there, celebrating on the pitch with the medal. Goalkeepers involved, and a great performance all round. Very great performance.
Great performances. We saw Charlie Philpott in the end, and we talked about if you don't finish your attacking goal, this is the goal we talked about.
Let's look at this one moment. Look at the goalkeepers. 10th goal, nutmeg through the defender, or the attacker actually, all the way down the other side of the pitch. We're all watching it as it lands straight into the middle of the net. One little bounce. No, not even a bounce. Straight into the back of the net.
Brilliant.
Now that is a way to score the final goal.
Brilliant goal.
Of an outstanding
performance.
About
if teams don't finish their attack, keepers can get involved in this game as well. What you've seen there from the Welsh keeper, unbelievable technique, unbelievable finish to top off what is an amazing performance.
Yeah. Now let's go and hear from the winning manager.
Yes. You told me that you was ready for the final. You didn't tell me how good you guys are. 10-1. How could you be any more happier?
No, I couldn't, be honest, and for the lads really, because they've put in so much to prepare for this. Yeah, buzzing for them.
Talk to me about the whole. What I'm so impressed by is that you guys were winning clearly throughout the game, but the intensity never dropped. Like you guys were playing like it was 0-0 or you were 1-0 down. Just talk to me about the intensity throughout the whole game.
Futsal's a squad game. We've got a deep squad. We had 2 players drop out through illness yesterday, so we've got an even deeper squad than you saw today. One of the players that would have started, the other player would have started the semi-final 2 weeks ago. So there were big players that we were missing, but the squad is deep. They're a good group, and they have really worked hard for this.
Just before you spoke to me, the guys gave you the trophy. They're all jumping around. It looks great. It looks great with you. I want to know what does that mean for you, and what have you brought to these guys, and why they feel so indebted to you?
Do you know what? It means more to the community back home. So we've got a youth section from under 12s up to under 16s. That 2 of them were in the under 16s that played today, Sam and Will. So it's more that we can go back and say, keep sticking at futsal. This is what the rewards are, and the returns will be.
Well, that was the second game of the day, and now the third and final game will be coming up at 2:30. Michael, who are we expecting to see today?
Yeah, so this is the big one, Pippo. This is going to be the huge game of the day. Both teams fighting it out for the Champions League spot to go into Europe for the Champions League. Pro Futsal London against Helvetia London. Both London teams very, very strong. You know, we're talking about super talent. We're talking about England internationals, other foreign internationals. Helvetia have got tier 1 players from Portugal in their side. You know, this is going to be one hell of a game.
Now this is a tier 1 match that's coming up at 2:30. Are we going to see a massive difference from what we just saw now?
Yeah, I don't expect to see the amount of goals that we've seen in this game compared to that game. Both teams are going to be toe-to-toe. We'll see different styles. We'll see a pressing team from Pro Futsal, very quick, very aggressive. They've got a player called Denison who is a world leader, and then Helvetia, really clever with the ball, really good team. Rayoni Medina leads the line, who's a goal scorer. So this is going to be a little bit more closed game, high-level tactics, but fast.
Well, I'm looking forward to it. That game is at 2:30, and we will see then. Do not go anywhere. We'll be back on air where we will see the National Series 1 Grand Final, the Series 1 Pro Futsal London against London Helvetia.